I got to work on getting my music together. You know, that's my next thing. I need to go ahead and get the music together because I love a good intro. And so I need a good intro.
I will look for who I got for ours. I don't know if you heard ours, but I got somebody off of Fiverr to do ours.
I meant to look into that. I like
the hell out of it. She a black woman. The whole.
I like a good intro. So let me do that. Let me welcome everybody into our Small Biz Bites. I am Gwendolyn G, as how people call me G, but Gwendolyn R. Houston Jack. I'm a small biz owner. I love sharing the stage with other small businesses and all people who are thriving and leading in their community. I'm excited about tonight because I had the twins. I got the twins from Bottom Line Sports Talk, which I have to say, now I don't know a lot about sports, but I can hold a conversation. You know what I'm saying? I have what I need to hold a conversation.
You do a great job.
So,
great job. You've been doing fantastic.
So I am more than happy. I was highly excited to get a chance. And I know it said Gary, but it is Gary and Cary, G and C. It's the GGC show. How do you say that? Like really fast? GGC. How do you say that really fast? So let me go ahead and let you guys introduce yourselves. And then we're going to get into it because I really want to talk about podcasting, your history, and then also what we're doing or what you guys are doing for the future of your podcast. So please, gentlemen, who are you?
Well, first and foremost, I do have to say thank you for having both of us on your podcast. And thank you for supporting us as well. But my name is Cary, one half of the Bottom Line Sports Talk with my twin brother over here, Gary. We do everything. We try to keep it funny. We go over sports. We have our own little segments. And, of course, the music stuff, which we both love. And I know him, he the one that got it. He the one that got it jumped off. So I definitely have to give a whole lot of credit to my older twin brother over here. So,
older twin.
Older twin. I am older by 12 minutes. Our birthday is actually Tuesday, May 16th. We are Tauruses in this piece. So this is one half of the dynamic duo. We are twins. Bottom Line Sports Talk podcast. Mm-hmm. Been doing this for about 4.5 years. We look to educate, entertain, and most of all, inform for things that you don't see on ESPN, Bleacher Report, Athletic, whatever it may be. We want to bring you the inside the scoop, that the things that you don't hear about, a different perspective from two Louisiana boys, right? So we've been doing it for about 4.5 years. It started off as a blog. We've been talking about sports forever. It started off from hearing our grandparents, uncles, dad talk about it to we formed our own little cohort from
college,
on the way until so. Only thing different about back then to now is that we actually have a mic in front of us.
Right. I can truly say this: everybody that tuned in to Bottom Line Sports from the beginning until now, I'm pretty sure everybody has seen the growth. Every episode, I believe we express our personalities. We are out there. We let everybody know that we out there with our crazy takes. So it's been a crazy joyride, and I've been happy to be a part of it.
Well, I got to tell you, when I discovered it, and we'll talk about how I discovered it, I have never really been a person who would tune in to like a podcast because I'm thinking, let me see what's going on. Okay. So I tuned in. I thought, you know what? I can do this every Tuesday. This is actually something very feasible for me. This is actually very feasible. So let me say this, wherever you're tuning in, we are streaming to Facebook and YouTube and LinkedIn. Wherever you are, let us know where you are in the comments. We have C&G of Bottom Line Sports Talk, talk about their podcast. And if I go back to how I discovered Bottom Line Sportscasts, it was because I received an email about the Business Champions Conference.
Oh, yes.
Right?
Yes.
And, you know, so me, myself, I had the luxury of meeting Ramon Ray some time ago. And I was like, if Ramon is coming, and I mean this, if Ramon is coming anywhere near me,
Most definitely.
I want to be in the building.
Most
Plain
definitely.
and simple. I want to be in the building because he is like the best. So high energy. I love it. And I thought, well, I hemmed and I hawed, and I finally bought a ticket. And then I get there, and it's this very quaint room of business owners and leaders and things. And it was after lunch. I ran into Gary.
Yes.
Now, I'm going to let Gary finish the story.
So, much like you, I was like, I don't know if I want to do this Breakfast with Champions conference. So I didn't know for sure. But my introduction to Breakfast with Champions came after my layoff with Capital One. I was actually introduced to Casey Hastings. I actually won an event where I was able to get her journal, and that's been a life changer. So is she. And I was introduced to Trevor Houston, and it kind of spiraled into there. And Casey invited me to Breakfast with Champions. I saw Mark, I saw Trevor. I was like, hey, let me take a picture. My friend just got hired, but I haven't, and I'm on like a split path anyway. So let me go ahead and do that. And Casey wasn't speaking until Friday, and we came from lunch. I met a few people, and all of a sudden, I saw you before. I saw G before, and I was coming back from lunch. I think she was going to the restroom, so I apologize for stopping you from the restroom. And I saw her soon. I was like, hey, I got to stop her in my head. Who is this? And I stopped her. I was like, hey, nice suit. Who are you? What's going on? And she stopped. She spoke to me. We figured out very quickly we had a lot in common. We had some deaths, which are very sad, but very similar that we can relate to.
Yeah.
Career paths that we can relate to. Moms we can relate to.
Yes, mothers.
We had a lot that we can relate to, and so we clicked that first day, and I think we wound up talking until we had to go back. So I apologize for making you miss your podcast.
Yeah, but you know what? Here's the deal: the whole deal is to network, and it's funny how you talked about like just in terms of coming into a room. I was telling a friend earlier that my grandmother always said, when you walk into a room, walk with your head held high. And walk in like you own it. So when I go anywhere, I already know I own the room. So y'all can just catch up. That's how we do. That's how Gwendolyn does. It's like you gotta have that confidence. It's like walk in it. Like that's what you do. But it was great to be in that space with all these people and to have time to actually network. That was huge too, because a lot of conferences you kind of talk and stuff and never really talk afterwards.
Yes.
Right? Like you just kind of share stuff and you may follow and that's about it. And then it just kind of like falls apart and you don't really. So we have kept in contact. I know I am always very active on the podcast. I'm not going to lie about that. I have an opinion about some things. James Hart is one of them, Cary.
I know. Everybody.
Shout out to Spencer.
Everybody.
Spencer he's one of our viewers. He's an active. He's always available. And if I'm not mistaken, Spencer is considering doing a podcast. So Spencer, if you got any questions, go ahead, throw those out there because tonight we want to talk about, the podcast journey of Gary and Cary. And so we really want to get into that. So tell me, how did you guys even consider going down this path? Like, where did you mentioned it started like in college or when you guys were kids? Where did that come from?
Want me to go first? Yeah. So where it started from, I told some people a long time ago when I was kind of going on this journey, whatever you want to do, you've probably been doing it your whole life. You never stepped into it. For us with the podcast, we've been exposed to grandparents, uncles, aunties, even, mothers, whatever it may be, kind of talking about sports, politics, whatever it may be, expressing their opinion, but it's been on a, in a den format, in a living room format, outside on a patio format, whatever it may be. Mm-hmm. So we've always been exposed to it. And it's one of those things where if you have a one-on-one conversation, like you low-key kind of have a podcast.
Right.
So that's kind of where it started. It started after our Pops passed for me. It started as a blog. Not great at writing. I'm just going to be honest. Not great at writing. I don't know about him, but I'm not great at writing. And so it was a struggle at first. So it started as a blog. And I had a old business, financial friend, whatever you want to call her. She was my everything at the time and still is, even though we hadn't spoken in a while. Laura Royer. I got to make sure I slow down when I say it. But she helped me out through a lot. And she asked me one day when I was doing the blog, she was like, what do you really want to do? I was like, I want to be a podcaster and eventually get on ESPN, Bleacher Report, Athletic, whatever, right? And she was like, well, why don't you do that? I was like, well, I thought I had to start out like this. She was like, boy, if you don't sit up there and do this podcast or whatever. So the year the Saints got cheated with the worst pass interference call that was never called,
Lord,
February 13th, I remember. Yep. February 13th, we started the podcast out of spite.
Okay.
And that's where we kind of started. But it's always been in us. We just put a mic in front of us. Like, we've been doing this for forever.
Yeah, and I know Gary had brought the idea to me about the podcast. One day when he was already at home, and I wound up coming home to see him and my mom. And I want to say it was probably either Saturday or Sunday afternoon. And we was just watching. We was watching the game, and he was like, "Hey, do you want to do a podcast?" What?
Well, I set him up. But I don't want to cut him off. I set him up because I had already bought the mic.
He said, "I already made the decision."
I said, "Hey, you want to do a podcast?" He's like, "Sure." I was like, "I got the mic already in the back."
I was like, "I said, a podcast? A what podcast?" I said, a what podcast? He was like, "Yeah, sports podcast, man. We can make it however we want to." I was like, "All right, man. Look, I'm down for the ride. If he's doing it, I want to be a part of it." And I know whenever you put both of us in a room, you always going to be laughing. You always going to be entertained.
Something's going to happen.
Something's going to happen. And I just remember like the beginning of those episodes that we were doing it. I know when we first moved down here, we had the big argument with LSU.
Hold on. I'm sorry. I didn't see this how I looked down.
He said, wait a minute.
What?
I saw that.
First of all, you got Boondocks on rocking with you, but you a fan of
so he's coming out of Atlanta. So, Falcons.
Oh, no.
The Falcons and the Saints. We know that rivalry does go back just
that rivalry goes back, but the last time I checked, if I'm not mistaken, the Saints own that rivalry, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, my God.
Appreciate you, Spencer, though. Go ahead.
Big shout to you, Spencer.
I ain't want to cut you bad.
But yeah, I mean, he had told, I know from the beginning of our earlier episodes, man, me and Gary was going at it. Well, it wasn't even a podcast. It was more like it was more arguing. It wasn't even a debate show. It was an argument show. And I just remember, of course, the time, some of the more memorable episodes that I can remember in the past when LSU and Clemson was playing.
Or Alabama.
LSU and Alabama. Rest in peace to Nipsey Hussle when he passed away.
Yeah.
The same day that he passed away, Michigan State basketball team beat Duke basketball team, which was referred to probably as the best college basketball team of all time. So I can definitely point out to a lot of memorable episodes. But yeah, it all started with my brother over here. He just wanted to do a podcast, and I'm along for the ride.
I think it's great though, because there are some people who may not be great writers, but they have a presence and they can definitely carry it and talk about it on camera or off camera. I know for myself, I'm a mild, high achieving slacker. Yeah, that does exist. My whole deal for doing more lives was I don't have to edit it. Like, I just want to get it out there and it's done. So it's done and I'm great, right? If I have to sit down, it's like, now I got to sit down and I got to clip here and add music there. It's like, Yeah. Because I loved blogging. I still blog, but video blogging made it easier. And so this just happened to come about because I do like talking to people and getting their story and celebrating them, even if they are Saints fans. Now I'm a Texans fan, though. I'm Texans, right? I
Like
even came, girl got a Texas shirt on, you know.
Oh,
you
okay,
know,
okay, cool,
they're not
You
they're
mean
not a great team at all. Like
you mean
at
you an
all.
Oilers fan?
Yeah, yes, I was an Oilers fan, but I will always represent the hometown.
Okay.
So I will always represent the hometown, Houston Texans, Rockets, Astros, all of that. Like we are ride or die for our hometown team. That's what we do.
Okay.
Shout out to my brother. Hello, what's going? He understands. You gotta represent for your home team. So I figure I'm gonna come here, put on the Texans tee, because Houston stand up. That's what we do. Now, hopefully we'll have a better season this year.
I'm gonna say this because I know you're from Houston, so I love the Oilers. Warren Moon fan.
Yes,
I'm young, but I know who Warren Moon is. But I will say this: I have been rooting for y'all, especially since y'all got D'Amico Ryans as y'all head coach, C.J. Stroud.
Yeah,
I don't know what Will Anderson's gonna be, but the heart that was shown last year, I've been rooting for y'all this whole time. I got friends who either were on it or are on it now.
Yeah.
So we're rooting for y'all.
I think y'all gonna have a good season. It
I
ain't
feel
gonna
pretty
be
good.
No.
Y'all might have a six.
It's still gonna be terrible.
Yes, y'all might have a
Hey.
No. It's not because you're not gonna be good. It's because Jacksonville is better.
Yeah.
It's only because you're young.
Okay, well,
it's only because you're young.
Yeah. Okay, well, you never know. But I will say I was actually very proud of them last year too. I will say that.
I was proud. I was loving it.
I mean, even though their record was garbage, they always showed up, and like you wouldn't know that it was going to be a hard game. Some of them games, the Cowboys specifically, they should have won.
Exactly.
But but what can I tell you? But it's gonna be better. It's gonna be better. It's a whole new season. Everybody comes out the gate that this is their year. At least I believe every football fan comes out the gate like this is their year. I think.
No,
you ain't right. Yeah, you are right.
No, I do not.
I believe.
I don't. Listen. As much as Spencer wanted to rag on a Saints fan, I am a realist, right? And I will say this as a realist: our division sucks. So the Saints are the best team right now on paper.
Yeah,
we should win. Everything bad happens to us.
Exactly. when it's high expectations, we always find a way to something whatever happens.
Yeah.
And we just come crumbling down.
And I'll say this too, so we can go ahead and continue. Atlanta has no shot. And I love Desmond Ridder. I am a Desmond Ridder Cincinnati fan. I wish for nothing but bad things to happen to them and them only in the division. Because I don't care. We can go on now.
Let's take part of Spencer's comment.
He called us the eight.
He said, as much as I respect your love for, he said the eights. I would like to know how you found your path with your podcast in such a crowded field. How did you find your niche? That's a great question. That's great. So let's go there. How did you guys? Because there's a lot of podcasts out there, and I could have sworn I read most podcasts are only around for 7 episodes. That's what I
didn't even know that.
I read. I don't know.
I didn't even know. No, that sounds right. So as far as how we found our edge,
I want to say, in the words of Benny the Butcher, we got nice, practice repeated, and that's how we kept doing it. I know at some point in time we were just going, we were fussing, even off after we got done doing it.
Yeah, no, we was mad at each other.
Yeah, we was mad at each other. we kept at it. We kept practicing. We kept talking to each other, even during agreements and disagreements. We just kept at it. We just kept at it. And what's the old saying? Repetition.
Repetition creates recognition. I tell my team that.
And repetition is also the father of learning as well.
Yes.
So that's I can honestly say that's pretty much how we got better and how we kept getting consistent.
So my answer is a little bit it's similar to his, but it's a little bit different. So for me, because it started off as a blog, I knew that I didn't want to go back to writing. Right. So it was that part, but it was also like I knew the chemistry that we had. Like a lot of people don't know that we're twins. And I don't know about you, but I know a lot of twins. A lot of twins aren't like us. Like our dynamic is like thick as thieves, the whole 9 yards. We can fight, cuss, fuss, whatever. And it's like, you done? All right, cool. We back to it. So it's that, and then also it's knowing that we have something special. So whenever we're around each other, it can be at a bar, a lounge, wherever. It's a special chemistry that goes on that people draw to us. So putting that in the podcast sphere, knowing that that's going to be something is one thing. And then also another thing that I encourage people about was it's a crowded field in whatever you go in, right? Yeah. But the thing that separates everything from what you do is your voice isn't out there. So it's not crowded. You're not out there, so your voice isn't out there, so it's not crowded. Until you put your voice out there, it's not authentic. And like that's what I try to encourage people to do. That's why I said earlier, when it comes to people actually being able to differentiate you from whoever, if your voice isn't out there, it's not authentic. And so I try to encourage people, whatever you think, whatever you have, whatever you wish to do, if you're not out there doing it, it's not crowded because you're not out there yet. So I try to encourage people. It's not an authentic voice. It's not encouragement. It's not whatever until you do it.
I agree with that. Yeah.
I know you follow Ramon. I do too. He put out something, I think, yesterday or today that if you're not actually, putting yourself out there, being fearless instead of fearful, then you don't know who's looking at you and you can't.
Right.
So that's where that draws from. And I don't know if he knows it because I think a little bit deeper than he does when it comes to certain things. But I know just us doing it at first, that first year was rocky. That first year was rocky. That first year was rocky. But after that, it became repetition. What day we doing it on? When we doing it? How often we gonna do it? And so it became like, okay, so you're accountable. I'm accountable. Let's be accountable to whoever's listening. Yep. Whether it's one person, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 20, 100, whatever. Right. And so it became be accountable for that. Be able to inform, educate, and entertain our audience. And we're here now 4.5 years later. Woo, 4.5 years later.
That's a long time when you think about it. Like, some people count like their episodes. Like, this is my 200th episode, my so-and-so episode. Like, people count it that way. But two things. One, the one about being authentic and sharing your voice and that it's not crowded. I'm a photographer. Everybody named Mama got a camera. Right. So you got to know in that field, how can it not be crowded? But everybody's not G. And I am some kind of high energy. Lord knows, bless everybody who actually hired me. We are some different kind of high energy, but God, it is like the very best and it cannot be duplicated. Like, it's just like, this is what it is. So people come back for that specifically. Right. Yeah. So I get what you mean when you say, yes, everybody's done it, but it's like I said, it's like going to the grocery store, right? There's aisles of bread, aisles of water, aisles of jelly, and all those aisles, they all sell, right? Yes. Now, I'm not buying keto bread. I'm not doing it. Sometimes I will splurge for Nature's Own, and other times I'm getting the Kroger brand, right? But all the bread is selling. Right. Yes. All the bread is selling. So yes, you can bring your bread. You could sell your peanut butter. You could sell your olives and whatever else you're creating. There's still room because it's how we do it. And that's what makes it special. Yep. That's how we are doing something different. So going deeper into your bottom line, Sport Talk, you guys have this dynamic that has attracted people. In terms of preparation, how much time do you give for that? Because I know for myself, when I write down things, I'm typically driving And I'm like, oh, wait, that'll be great. And I do a voice note so I don't forget what I was thinking of, because, it's in and it's gone. What do you guys do to prep for your conversations?
Let me go first so you can give the real version.
Okay.
So I'm gonna give y'all the professional version, right? So because of the people that we partner with, FanStream Sports, DSP Media, we have a run sheet, right?
Oh.
Before maybe episode 120 or something like that, I'm just gauging because we stopped counting after 100.
Oh, I'm not there yet.
we would show up like what you saw on Sports Center.
Yeah.
And I would be like, what I saw on Bleacher Report. And I got a subscription to Athletic and Washington Post and stuff like that. We would show up, just be like, what you saw. And that'd be about it. So we look, because of our dynamic, whatever he comes up with, 9 times out of 10, that will be something that I saw. We could talk about it, explore it, whatever it may be. We've gotten better, but it used to be what you saw. Okay, boom, I saw that. If not, you got to run this segment because I don't know nothing about it. But you go.
now he gave you the the good version or whatever. The other version is I get on Twitter.
Oh.
I know a lot of people. I know
Twitter is beautiful.
I tell everybody
before Elon Musk.
Right.
I tell everybody the same thing. I get my information from Twitter. I get it from Instagram. Of course, I get it from FS1. I watch ESPN. I read Athletic Report, Bleacher Report.
Now you read Athletic.
But now I read that later. But man, Twitter, and us as African Americans, we have this thing.
Black Twitter is undefeated.
Black Twitter.
I agree. It is undefeated.
Black Twitter, especially when the NBA is on, NFL playoffs, or any NFL game, when college football, college basketball, every time something happens, every time a team loses, Black Twitter does its own thing. I don't know why. I can't explain. I've been with Twitter since I want to say 2010. Mm-hmm. It has never failed. Some of the information, it do be crazy or whatever, but I see a lot of information on Twitter, and I be getting, like I said, half of it from Twitter, and then the other half YouTube, watching ESPN, watching ESPN, FS1, stuff like that. So whenever we get ready to record, like Gary has said, now we do our run sheet. Before then, we were just freestyling.
It was one of those things beforehand. It was like, where the hell did you get this from?
Oh, man, I did my research,
and that was the thing. We both like held each other accountable. Wherever you find your information, send the article.
Yep.
And the double from both of us would be, where did you get this from? Oh, I found it on the internet. I found it on Twitter.
But it's the internet. It must be true.
Yeah, exactly. and so it was like, well, and I told him, I think after about the 75th episode, something like that, I was like, we need to make sure we're telling the story because we're assuming that everybody knows what we're talking about.
Right.
But that's not true, especially if it's somebody tuning in the first time. Yeah, right. So I was like, we got to make sure we're telling the story. So with him, I'm not saying that he doesn't do it, but with him, it's more along the lines of I'm telling the juicy details. With me, it's like I need to fill in the blanks so everybody understands why this is something of importance or something like that.
Yep.
Sweet. I will say this. There is some prep that does go into any podcast or any blog, any vlog. So let me say this one more time. We were talking to Gary and Cary of Bottom Line Sports Talk. They do have their Instagram listed there. They're also on YouTube. I follow on YouTube, so check for them there. We're streaming to Facebook. We are streaming to LinkedIn and YouTube. We've got Hayner in the building. We've got C. Houston, Black Eighth Element. Spencer's here. He is a Atlanta Falcons fan, but he's still here. He's ride and die because he's like, look.
We appreciate Spencer, but he's still around. He's still around.
We're talking about creating the podcast. Now, let me get a little bit into the details because clearly you said that you bought the mic and you're like, hey, we're doing a podcast. When did you know to like upgrade your materials? Like, because I mean, I've got the laptop, I got my lights, I got my mic, I have my personality. So what else do we need? Like, when do you know I need to go here now? Like, when did that happen?
So honestly, I'm actually creating something, so I won't give out too much detail because I'm actually creating a ebook guide to people creating a podcast. So there's actually something in the works that's going to be out soon. But as far as what you need to create a podcast, honestly, you need a camera and decent lighting. You don't need very much. So what you really need is good content, a good topic, and if you're gonna have interviews, have a good guest where you can feed back and forth from. If you're gonna do a solo podcast, be able to like engage, leave open-ended questions so the audience can kind of assume things and be able to like navigate them towards sources. So I would say you don't need very much. Like I bought a mic because I was like, oh, we need a great mic. And you remember I used to be like, oh, we got to turn it like this way and this way. And this way. That's great. That's good. But honestly, and we didn't get on YouTube till what, 2.5, 3 years?
But
Really?
Yeah, but I remember first. I think we first started doing it when we was like before with microphones.
This is before pandemic.
The anchor,
yeah,
anchor, yeah. We were doing anchor, and we was
Audacity because I would load it up to anchor.
Yeah. So we would have the microphones, and we would literally be like right next to each other, like talking in the mic, like yeah. We came a long way.
We went through a bunch of trial and errors. I got back then it was high Blue Yeti, and it had different like settings.
Okay.
So if we had a guest, we would make it like surround. If it was just me and him, it would be 1 and 2 type thing. But honestly, like you just need 1 or 2 mics, whether that's a little bit more expensive or some cheap mics. And I know the audio matters and people will tell you that it matters. But what's important is when you get your idea out there and you get your content flowing and your episodes going and stuff like that, and 2, your consistency. That's what I've told people since we started. Oh man, you got a podcast. Like, how do I get it going? Are you committed to it? That's the first thing I asked him, and he knows because he's had friends ask me too, and ask him too. I was like, the most important thing is consistency before anything else. If you're not committed to your idea, so a lot of people like to do gossip podcasts. Nothing wrong with it.
Okay.
Are you committed to the idea of being a full-time gossip podcaster, whether it's a week, once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week, whatever? If you are, cool, go with the idea, whether you're confident or not. Because honestly, again, I'll say it, we started our podcast out of spite.
Right.
We started out of spite.
We were like, let's keep it going.
Yeah,
let's keep it going.
The New Orleans Saints got cheated off the worst pass interference call that was never called. The Los Angeles Rams and the New England Patriots were in the Super Bowl.
At the lowest rated Super Bowl.
Lowest rated Super Bowl. We did not do We started our day 1 podcast February 13th, 2018 to 19th. I remember the date. Like I remember
I remember the date.
Yeah, we started it then, and it's been going since. So it's not like I can sit there and be like, "Oh, we started because we were so confident." We started out of spite, but we kept it going. Out of like, this is kind of easy.
Yeah.
And so I would encourage anybody, like, don't start it off of a trend. Don't start off of something that you think it'll be. Start it purely off of something that you're entertained by. If you're entertained by some gossip, cool. Photography like you, cool. Sports like us, cool. Whatever it may be, start it and don't stop. Like, we didn't have a foolproof schedule.
Okay, so
honestly,
God bless it. I love Spencer. Spencer's like, I hate to say so much. I go to the Essence Festival just to protest the stadium.
But you love the Essence Festival.
Okay. But my question is, what is your approach to marketing your podcast? Ooh, that's great. How do you get it out there? Like, how do you tell people, hey, we exist? Where does that come in?
You want me to go?
Let me go.
Go ahead.
All right. What I normally do is after we get through doing the episode, I will always screenshot the episode, and even early episodes, I will always screenshot those episodes, and then I'll put them on my IG. Also, we have our own Twitter, I'll say some crazy stuff on our Twitter about a certain game or games or players or whatever. And now Twitter has the views thing where how many people view your tweets. Yep. So that's what I normally do. And I mean, I'll be at Blue Cross. I'll be talking to people. I was like, hey, I need to tune in to Bottom Line Sports Talk. It's the best podcast out there.
So I got 2 or 3 points I'm gonna forget. So just keep counting for me.
Okay.
So first, I would say make sure you tell everybody that you know, which that's what we're doing now. After Breakfast with Champions, I don't know who knows, but we got a sports podcast. After listening, this second point, after listening to Glenn Lundy, who knows that you have a podcast, business, whatever it may be. Make sure you let them know. To add to point number 2, I told you that's why I say it now. He told the Michael Jackson story, right, with Quincy Jones. That's why I've started saying now we get the #1 global sports podcast because our mama said so.
Yep.
It flows, it makes sense, all that good stuff. And then number 3, just making sure you're your own marketing machine. So the thing that I'm doing now, and I'm saying this now, I am 4 years in this, or we're 4 years in this. I don't want to say we're 4 years in this. I am now beginning to put myself out there along with my co-hosts. We're beginning to put ourselves out there. So the best marketing campaign is you yourself. So making sure that you make videos. It can be ugly. It can be pretty. It can be whatever you need it to be. But making sure you put your own product out there. Nobody believes in it more than you do.
Yep.
No matter whether it's 2 views, 50 views, 100 views, whether it's 2 likes, 3 likes, 4 likes, or 500 likes. If you don't put it out there, nobody else will know. And that's what we're figuring out. That's what I'm finding out. That's what he's finding out. So you saw it, G. We put it out there yesterday. And I'm going to put some out there again today. But just being consistent with, okay, you're posting your episode, you're doing your content, but are you letting people know?
Right. But here's the deal. Okay, so let's go ahead and say this. A lot of people don't toot their own horn because in society we have been told to not brag. But the fact of the matter is you have to be your marketing machine.
Yes.
I post about my YouTube channels, plural. I post about the videos. I reshare my own content because somebody has to do it.
You do.
And on average, people have to see your piece of content 7 to 8 times before they even notice it. So if you think 1 time or 2 times is enough, that's not even like a tip of the iceberg. Like you have to do 7 to 8 times on average to get their attention because there's so much going on. Yeah. So Gwendolyn is always resharing her G photo stuff and my coach stuff over here. And my timeline is me, and that's okay because damn it, it's beautiful.
I would encourage people to follow your strategy, follow ours that we're starting to do now. But ultimately, like I believe the biggest thing is who knows about what you have going on.
Right.
I think that's the biggest thing that I picked up from the conference that we attended together. Who knows about what you have going on? Because when I thought about it, once we left that conference, I was like, oh, no, who all knows if we have a podcast or not outside of our immediate circle. And our circle is, decent size, but, high school, college friends that you met, people who you meet on the street, you might meet one time. Do they know that, like for you, G, do you do photography? Do they know that we run a sports podcast? Whatever it may be. Because you just never know if that one connection will sit up there and, plateau you to another journey. And it's not even about that. Like for us, I'm excited to do this because we had a genuine connection. I think we talked 30 minutes after we left the
I think it was like an hour. We were like, it was one of those good old-fashioned, before I let you go, now I'm like one leg in the car. Before I let you go, the car door is closed. Now the window is down. Before I let you go, it's like, okay, it's been an hour later now. So eventually I'm going to go home. But yeah.
She mentioned Prince, and I was like, "Oh my God!" I was like, "Oh,
you're not wrong for that. You're not wrong for that.
She loves Prince, but
what can I tell you?
Yeah, I would be like, share your stuff as much as you can.
Yeah.
Let your mom, dad, friend, sister, brother, girlfriend, wife,
the stranger
husband,
at the bar,
stranger at the bar, let them know what you do. Honestly, like yesterday, I was at a little networking event. The guy asked what I did. I didn't even say I was looking for a job. I said, "Hey, I run a sports podcast with my brother."
Yes.
Oh, really? I'm in the sports. I'm like, great.
Is what you put out there is what you put out there. And I have always been told that the moment of commitment, the universe will conspire to assist you. So if you don't tell anybody about your dream, what you're doing, no one can be available to help you reach that. So you got to put it out there. We have another question here. Hater says, how many episodes would you recommend a new creator should record before releasing their first one? This is about consistency.
So I would say it depends on what kind of content that you're creating. For us, sports moves so fast that we have to be on the go every week.
Time,
So for us, it was like once we did the first one, we was like, we got to come back with the second one, the third one, the fourth.
Right.
For you, and I'm not saying you do it this way, but for you, I would say, hey, if you have something that can be pre-recorded and you can kind of load up some episodes.
Okay.
I wouldn't put a number to it, but I would say, I don't have a number on, but 3 is I would say.
I say do a trial run, just like do a re-record, like record the first time, run it back, see if you like it. Maybe ask maybe one of your family or friends to see if they like it. If they need you to make any adjustments, I would definitely do that. But hey, do a trial run one time, and then hey, if you feel satisfied with it, hey, start recording after that. That's what I would do.
Yeah, he's in a little bit more reserved phase. I'm in a like jump in there. So I would say no more than like 2 or 3. For me, you can always sit up there and kind of load up episodes depending on your level of commitment. But I would say don't get bogged down by how many you have to have pre-recorded and stuff like that. Like we talked about it we talked about it yesterday. We don't know if we're recording for our birthday because it's next Tuesday and that's when we record.
Yeah.
But we know that like the demand is coming, the high and all that stuff like that. So we may try to do something beforehand. Right. Or we may just kind of do some live video just to give people a peep into like our birthday celebration. We don't know. Yeah. But I would say it depends on the content, but don't get bogged down by pre-recorded episodes because the most important thing is for you to get the episode out there.
Yeah.
Because if you get bogged down by pre-recorded episodes, you're like, well, I don't have enough in the backlog. So now you're stuck trying to get the backlog in.
Yeah. It's just get started. It's like just put the key in the ignition, turn it. Well, actually, it's now push to start. Let me not show my age. Let me not show my age, man. I remember the key of one for the ignition and one for the trunk. So I'm gonna go ahead and put it out there like that. I don't mind saying it. It's okay. But it is push to start. Let's just get started. Let's just get started.
That's the most important thing.
Yeah.
Just get started. I would tell you when we did it, we didn't have an intro. We didn't have any theme music. He knows that I like played around with a lot of things. Yeah. Just get started. It doesn't have to have an intro. Come on there with energy. People are attracted to energy. You know it just like I do, G. You know it just like I do, Cary. Just come over there with energy, and people are gonna gravitate to it. Tell everybody that you know about it. Ask them to tell a person to share it.
That's it.
Like that's the most important. When you get like people always talk about, and you know, just like I know, people say, hey, go ahead and make sure you tell everybody about your message, what value it brings. I'm with you, right? I love that. I'm at the base level because we're just not getting started trying to expose ours a little bit more. Man, tell everybody you got it first. Don't even tell them about the value. Tell everybody you got it first before you let them listen to it. Like I remember somebody said, hey, I'm sharing my episode with you. Listen to 1, 2, or 3 episodes before you judge it. And I think that was so powerful just because it's saying, go ahead and tell everybody that you got something. If they listen to it, cool. If they don't, cool. You can always come back and tell them, well, this is why you should listen to it. Right. And I know everybody's like, here's the anchor. But a lot of people aren't comfortable with saying, this is the anchor and this is why you should share it with X, Y, and Z. Everybody's not comfortable with it.
Sure enough.
Yeah, I agree with that because I know, like, I've had my YouTube channel for a while.
like
I kind of let it.
I don't like sisters.
Oh my God. You know, I hadn't read the whole thing. It says, how you going to be a Prince fan and a Saints fan? That ain't even right. They trying to win me over, but not with that Saints talk.
Before he passed away, he was in New Orleans.
He's so ridiculous. Oh my God, that's because it's crazy. So let me say this. Okay, so the one thing I took from some other YouTubers is just ask for the subscription.
Yep.
Right? People just think, well, I showed up, and it's like, but you gotta tell me, hey, please like, follow, share my video, subscribe to this channel if you like even the smallest thing that I'm doing.
Yes.
Hit that subscription button, because you know we kind of take it for granted that somebody will hit it. It's like you could just ask. Now you don't want to be like Westbrook asking for your ring just in case the Lakers win, but you could just ask. You could just ask. But I do want to leave. I do want to leave like a little bit of time because I know tonight the Lakers are playing Golden State. Yep. It is 3-1.
It is.
It's 3-1. I'm like, oh, because I guess AD decided to like actually show up consistently. Go figure. And last night, 76ers. I don't know what happened to the Celtics. I don't know what happened. Right. And although James Harden did not do all the things, he did do something. I'm gonna go ahead and give him that. I'll go ahead.
Hey, give him very little credit. Thank you.
I'll give him a little credit. I'll give him a little credit. Spencer says they named the team Saints because they were trying to get God on their side, and you see how well that worked out. But
no.
He said, what would you consider successful as it relates to your goals? All right. So how are you guys defining success for your podcast?
Ooh. So for me, in terms of success, it was getting him to buy in. Okay. That was one. And then I know I joke and laugh and all that and smile, but getting my mama to buy in too. Like, and everybody might laugh, but like, the biggest thing for me was getting her to buy in, not because she wouldn't support, but because I'm like, do you see what I'm trying to do? And 100%, I don't know what she does. But boy, when I tell you she support out the wazoo, you saw her last night, G.
I did. I saw your mama last night. I saw she was in there. She was in there.
I don't know if she supports out the wazoo. I don't know if she even understands half of it, but the fact that she supports, like, the next biggest thing is to make sure we get established in the business world and stuff like that with our, whether it's S Corp, LLC, whatever it may be. Make sure we got everything lined up with that because we have some stuff going on with that. But also making sure that he and I are establishing the space and making sure that even when numbers may not be there or it may not be going the way it was or is, because now that we're partnered with people, it's like, okay, they get it. Yeah. So now we're in a studio just about every week. Now we're a part of a bigger network and they have their own goals and we have ours. Now it's like, well, it's the big leagues now.
Yeah. and I know I just know one thing I always say, and I said it yesterday and I need to consistently start saying it, but whether it's you, Miss D, or if it's anybody else that's
Gwendolyn to you.
Miss Gwendolyn. My bad. I apologize. Miss Gwendolyn.
Miss D is fine. I'm of age.
No, Miss Gwendolyn. I always say whether it's one person, whether it's 10 people, 100 people, 1,000 people, I just thank everybody that just tune in because there is people like you that take time out of their day to listen to us talk for maybe an hour and
some change
every now and again. But I just appreciate all the love that we be getting from everybody that tune in. Randomly people, randoms, and people we know.
People you know. So let's do that since we have it as a question. What's the YouTube channel again? I just want to say this real quick. We are chatting with Gary and Cary of Bottom Line Sports Talk.
Yes.
They are a podcast. They are oh shoot, I don't know the tagline because I ain't your mama, so I don't know the tagline. but they are an internationally known podcast according to their mama. So number one international sports podcast. That's what it is. Okay, that's just what it is according to their mama, because their mama said so. So it's got to be real, right? Because she said so. So how can they find you on YouTube? What's your YouTube channel?
Yes, so we are a part of FanStream Sports. That's the partnership that we have with some people, some great people, brothers. Yeah. I think we got a couple of women. So brother sister podcast that we have. It's a network of podcasts. We're unique in what we do. So it's FanStream Sports. We're Bottom Line Sports Talk. We'll make sure we drop that under all comments. We do it for the culture.
By the culture.
Because we are the culture. Number one global sports podcast because our mama said so. Gotta keep saying that. So yeah, that's what we do. That's what we are. And we want to make sure, because music is a big thing for him. It's for me too, but that's his big passion. Our music segment, which we do at the end.
Yes, it's great. Yeah. Great music too, people. Great music.
It's something near and dear to our hearts. We make sure that we give 2 picks from he and I. When Tim's in studio, that's another 2 picks. But we give 2 picks from he and I, 4 all together, at least, where we dive into whether he wants to get a little hood, whether I want to get a little hood, or do we want to go with some vibes, both of us. Right. Whatever it may be, we're giving you something good to step to, something memorable, something where you can listen to for the remainder of the week where you think of us. So we give y'all a couple of picks, music picks. We got a playlist out there on Spotify. Right. Everything don't cross over to Apple Podcasts, unfortunately. So it's on Spotify right now.
Hey, I'm not going to even talk about that because I'm Team Samsung. But okay,
so we're on Spotify. It's all good.
So Smith says, thanks for the response. It's all good. He'll be tuning in because he needs to spread his hate. That's great to know. You got one more. We appreciate you. Oh my God. You gotta love it. You have to love it. So before, because I know we only got a few more minutes before we go into, because I do want to talk about your picks for this evening. I know you're Lakers fans. I ain't gonna hold on again. I'm not gonna hold against you. I'm not gonna hold against you. I know you're Lakers fans. Mm-hmm. They're 3-1. They're 3-1. But we were talking earlier about networking. Mm-hmm. And how, because we were both together in this circle, we were able to get sponsors for your podcasts. Because a lot of folks try to figure out, how do I get people to sponsor my podcast? You want to share that story?
Yes. So the beginning of 2023 was a different trial. He knows, he checks on me every day. Sometimes I get upset, mad, whatever. But the thing that I found whenever I go to events is if I raise my hand and stand up, something good happens. Nothing is different with Breakfast with Champions. So what happened is Adam, he said, does anybody want to volunteer to tell their goals and financial situation and stuff like that? I felt so encouraged and inclined. I was looking good and all this. I raised my hand. I was on the spot, and everybody, was like, "Oh, brave soul," and he was like, specific facts and figures, right? Mm-hmm. I'm
no feelings. I don't want your feelings.
Yeah, I don't want your feelings. I want the facts and figures, and I was trying to tiptoe around it. People was looking. I wasn't nervous. I was like, well, I don't want to give my facts and figures of what my account, but I gave it, right? And at the end, he was like, "You're looking for sponsors. Take out your Cash App. What is it? Put it on the screen. Who wants to sit up there and share their? You give their money to help sponsor this podcast and his dream." And so that's what happened. Again, I had already met G, so I wasn't shocked by what she gave. I was flattered. I wanted to cry again. I'll say that. But what I learned from that, whenever anybody's searching for a sponsorship, you don't have to look for the big sponsorship, Nike, Gatorade, whatever it may be. Mm-hmm. If you know a friend of a friend, and I'm not talking about anybody with a business, if I come to you and say, "Hey, do you want to help out?" You know the strategy that we had before. If you want to help out, hey, we can sponsor any business that you have going on, or we can shout you out, whatever it may be. It can be somebody with a small business, somebody with no business, whatever it may be. Will you donate to support me, my brother, or UG, whoever it may be, with our dreams? You'll donate $5, $1, $10, $25, $50, anything will help. But it's not about the money. It's more about the support
and connection.
And the connection. And look at you! You was like you was there at the conference. Connection, no, seriously, connection was the biggest thing.
It was huge. Human connection was huge.
That was the biggest thing, human connection. Okay. So if you give, which G knows, I've been trying to make sure I get everybody's information because I want to make sure at the beginning, middle, and end of the podcast, and anybody that I can shout out in between, I want to just thank them. This is 4 years in the making, and like we've made a little money. It's been him, me, my mom, and friends of, but for me, and he knows this, I was like, I can't call myself an entrepreneur, and that's my own cross to bear. I didn't want to call myself an entrepreneur until I can get money from somebody else who I did not know. And that's a cross to bear or whatever. But like that day changed my life because I'm like, none of y'all know me. And y'all don't know what we have going on. But y'all felt so inclined to like donate and give to us and sponsor us. And like he said, anybody who, even if you just sit up there and watch, we trying to shout y'all out as much as possible.
Yeah. But it was so great though, right? Because like you said, a lot of us think sponsors and we immediately think big circle. Then we forget we may have this person right across from us who could sponsor us and that person who could sponsor us. So it's actually very attainable when you really bring it down and say, I don't need to have this. I need to have this right here.
Yeah.
And you can have sponsors just that, because it happened just like that. He was like, I don't believe in charity, but I believe if you're going to give money, then he should give you something, i.e. he will now highlight your business in exchange for. And I thought, what, man, that's so easy. It's so easy.
I'm like,
he's like, so let us say this. As my brother says, Warriors in 7. I'm trying to keep the faith, bro. I'm trying to. It was looking bad the other day. I was like, oh my God.
No. Lakers in 6. No matter if they win tonight, Lakers in 6. AD will show up if not tonight, Friday. Lakers in 6.
Lakers in 6, huh?
And I said Lakers or Warriors in 6.
I want Lakers to win tonight, but
I was saying Warriors in 6, but now I can't use that math because that's no longer valid. Right, I was like Warriors in 6. I was like, great. Now it's not that's not adding up anymore. So I'm still rooting for the Warriors, but if it happens, then I'm looking over here at the Miami and Knicks. It is Miami 49, Knicks 58. It is third quarter, 9 minutes 27 seconds. So
in this series,
I'm like, first of all, Jimmy needs his ring. Can we all agree that Jimmy needs his ring? I mean, and can I just say this? I'm gonna have to share it. My brother, I swear to God, he looks like Jimmy Butler. I believe Jimmy is part of our clan. I kid you not. My mama always says, "Who's that kid who looks like Cecil?" And I was like, "Oh, Jimmy Butler. Yeah, is he playing today?" And so when I tell you splitting image, it is crazy how much he looks like he could be part of. He could be part of our clan. He could be. He's. I bet you didn't tell them you were a Saints fan. You left that out. I would too. Oh my God! You know what? The Hatfields in the McCoy.
This is too much, man. This is too much, man.
Oh my God, it is ridiculous. Oh God. This is what here's the deal. When you have people like Spencer, now Spencer, he's one of my best sponsors. There are very few shows that he doesn't show up and bring energy to the show as well. So shout out to Spencer in Atlanta. Thank you for always tuning in and bringing his authentic self. You can't pay for stuff like this, right? You can't pay for stuff like this.
Hey, I love
it. Shout out to Hayner. Also, we are looking for his podcast. So, accountability conversation is coming now that we have given you all the advice to get it.
I want to see that before the end of May. I want to listen to that.
That's a good one. Before the end of May, Hainer. For the end of May, we're going to get it out. We're going to put out that one. And just put out that one. We're going to push the start on the car.
Yes.
And be like, vroom, vroom, get it going, right? Get it going. So, yeah, it's been, I cannot thank you guys enough for giving me your hour of sharing your advice, because there are people in here who are looking to create their podcast. Just in case you didn't know, Spencer is one of them. So God bless that you gave him your advice.
Hey,
he'll probably be stalking you now.
It's free right now. Just know, before the end of May, I'm about to come up with some like cheat sheets and stuff like that. But the ebook is coming out real soon because
by all means.
I want to get this advice out. I want to help however many people. That's what that conference expired. So I want to be able to give it out. Hey man, I want to retire my mama. So we got to make
everybody's writing a book. I was like, well, maybe I should write me a book. Everybody's like, I want to write a book. I'm going to write my book. I was like, well, should I write a book on my bingo card? Because I don't have it on my bingo card.
That's what I said too. I was like, am I going to be a world-renowned author? I guess maybe. Like that's what I'm thinking to myself too. So yes.
Yes, right. I'm like, okay, so, but if you've got the ebook for podcasters, those who are getting started, by all means, even I will get one. I don't consider myself a podcaster. I am trying to bring back, and I don't know how old you guys are, but public access TV vibes. I want to go there. I want to go Golden Child. Give me the mic. I'm looking for this kid. I want to go there with what I'm doing. So, that's where I am. That's where I am. But I want to say this. Thank you, Gary and Cary, for giving us this hour, sharing your expertise with us. Again, this is on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. You can follow Bottom Line Sports Talk on Instagram. You can also follow them on YouTube. They come on Tuesdays at 7 o'clock Central at 7. Yeah. You can call in. You can chat with them, because Gwendolyn is vocal in the comments because somebody named Cary believes in James Harden. I don't know what that's about, but I'm not even going to bring that up. Oops, but I already did.
Oh, yes, he believes in James Harden.
I'm not even going to bring that up.
I know.
Okay. Although I heard rumors of him going back to Houston. Why would he do that? Why would they do it? But whatever. Maybe that'll be on your show on Tuesday. I don't know. It's your birthday. I don't know if you want to bring that up, but I'm just saying, But thank you guys. Thank you guys so much. Really enjoyed having you here. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in wherever you are. This is Small Biz Bites. Next week, we are talking profit first, because as small businesses, a lot of them don't last more than 5 years, sometimes 4. So how can you get your money together? We're going to talk about the money. Forget the taboos. We are going for your pocketbook, like Oprah, your pocketbook. That's my age.
You get a car.
That's my age. We're going for that. So that's next week. I want to say it's on Wednesday at 2 o'clock. I'm not mistaken, because I got so much going on. But I'll talk about it. Good night, everybody. Go watch the game. And Warriors in 7. Yes.
Lakers in 6. Bye, everybody.
Thank you for watching another episode of Small Biz Bites with Gwendolyn R. Houston Jack, where we chat with other creatives and small business owners about their journey. And we also invite you to like, share, and subscribe to the GR Houston Jack YouTube channel, where you can get the latest and greatest.